Good afternoon. I'm Gary Goodyear, and beside me is Peter Braid. We would like to make a brief statement here. Ladies and gentlemen, the Michael Ignatieff election platform has missing promises, uncosted and inaccurate costing on some of these promises, and frankly numbers that don't add up. The result will be some difficult times for Kitchener, Waterloo and Cambridge in terms of higher taxes that will kill jobs and job opportunities, affecting our families and economic recovery. I want you to know that Peter Braid, Stephen Elbrecht and Harold Elbrecht and Stephen Woodworth and I have fought very hard to get funding for the Perimeter Institute. We did that in 2007 and were successful in the budget. And again in the 2011 budget there was $50 million for the Perimeter Institute. That, as you know, the Liberals and NDP voted against. And if that weren't proof of enough of their lack of support, the new Red Book, the latest version of the Liberal Red Book, I ask you to look at it. There is absolutely nothing, no commitment in here for the Perimeter Institute, nothing at all. In fact, it goes on to say that there will be no funding for science and technology. That is something that we as a nation cannot afford to have happen. There is also not going to be any funding, as I said, for Genome Canada, for universities to do their research. This type of approach by the Liberal government during difficult economic times we've seen before. Like the Red Book that we've seen before, this caused a brain drain in our nation when we saw scientists pick up their families and leave our great country. The Conservative government has an entirely different science and technology strategy, and that is to invest in science and technology, innovation, research and development, to create the discoveries, to allow them to move into our factories to create more jobs, and allow those discoveries to be sold to the world, improving our future economics as well as improving the quality of life of Canadians and people around the world. The Prime Minister has said that science powers commerce. I believe that. Peter Braid believes that. What we don't believe is that increasing taxes is going to help, and what we don't believe is that not supporting the Perimeter Institute and science and technology is going to have any benefit whatsoever. In fact, will stall the progress that we have made in this great nation. Discovery science can take sometimes years, if not decades. It is not something you can put on pause. It is not something that you can cancel at will. It is something that you have to continue to invest in. So we are challenging Michael Ignatieff. We are challenging his candidates, particularly Karen Redmond and Andrew Telegdy in this riding, to come out and support the University of Waterloo, Wilfrid Laurier University, Conestoga College, and indeed the Perimeter Institute, which, as you know, is a world-renowned, globally respected area of theoretical physics that attracts hundreds of top-tier scientists, has incredible outreach programs for the community, and we need all parties to recognize the value of science and the input it has with our future economic benefits. So I will open for some questions right now. I will also show you our budget, where you will in fact find specifically funding for the Perimeter Institute to the tune of $50 million over 5 years. This is our solid commitment to the Perimeter and our history of increasing science and tech investments at every single opportunity, every single budget. We've increased funding and have literally reversed the brain drain. We now have a brain gain. We're very proud of it. We want to continue to move forward on that type of initiative. Any questions?
Yeah, just on the issue of trying to understand the taxation on the Liberal plan. They say it will come from corporate taxes that will pay for their plan. You're saying it will, the ordinary Canadians will see their taxes rise. Can you explain that?
Certainly I can. First of all, Michael Ignatieff is not being completely upfront with Canadians. The corporate tax rate is at 16.5%. Mr. Ignatieff says that he will keep it at 18%. Well, it's not at 18%, Michael. It's at 16.5. So the first thing that Michael is doing is raising business taxes. Michael Ignatieff has said he will not take a GST increase off the table. Number two, there are a lot of things that are not in this Liberal Red Book that he has promised. Billions of dollars for private sports arenas where millionaires will play hockey. I totally disagree with this, as Peter does. We can't use taxpayers' dollars to fund these sorts of private initiatives where most Canadians actually can't afford to even buy a ticket. He has also promised a high-speed train out of Montreal. That will cost tens of billions of dollars. And the funding goes on and on. His initiatives for student loans will cost, he says, $1 billion. Child care, $1 billion. Well, our child care program, the Universal Child Care Credit, actually costs more than $1 billion. So Mr. Ignatieff is also not being honest about the actual cost of his promises. They will be massive financial spending initiatives, and canceling or increasing even corporate tax rates by 1.5% will never cover that. He will have to either break his promises, which is the tradition of a Liberal Red Book, or he will have to increase taxes in a massive way on Canadians. And he should come forward and be clean about that.
Might the FedDev commitments that have been made over the last 6 months be in jeopardy if there was a change in leadership?
There are already some projects that are in jeopardy because of the election. We worked very hard to work through the due diligence on these projects to get them out the door, if you will, to help folks. But obviously when the election was called, we had to put FedDev new projects on hold, on pause. That is a dangerous thing for our economy in Ontario. As you know, we've already seen almost 250,000 new jobs created in Ontario alone as a result of stimulus programs, many of which are funded through FedDev. Those programs will continue, hopefully. They are scheduled to continue over the next 3 to 4 years, but absolutely. This is why we call this an unnecessary election. This is why we were concerned that we didn't need an election right now. Our recovery is very fragile. The United States is still in trouble. The world is very unstable, and what Canadians need and want is a government that is stable and can focus on their needs, which is the economy, creating jobs, keeping taxes low. Raising taxes right now would be the absolute worst thing for Canadian families. It would hurt seniors, it would hurt our businesses and future job opportunities. Not funding science and technology, not investing and continuing to invest in science and technology will hurt our future prospects at jobs. It will hurt our training of the next generation of scientists. Also not mentioned in the budget is new generation medical isotopes, something our government is funding and is very important to Canadians. So we challenge Mr. Ignatieff and the Liberal candidates to come clean with Canadians and recognize the absolute value that science and technology plays, not just today in creating jobs today, but the future jobs, the economic security of a nation. I will tell you that 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago, we announced a discovery, a product that will cure, if taken, malaria. This will save 1 million lives, mostly women and children. This goes along with our maternal health and initiatives that we won in the G8 conference. It is discoveries like that that are in jeopardy when any government comes along and puts the pause button on discovery-based science. The type of thing that happens at the Perimeter Institute creates jobs here in Waterloo, in Kitchener, and in Cambridge. It helps improve the quality of life of families, and it will create the jobs of tomorrow.